Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have a new video for you in a new line of tanks, the European line, and this is the Tier 6, the P43 Bis. As always, we'll have a look at the tech spec, and we will start, of course, with blitzhanger.com, as we always do. And this is in the European line, but this is actually an Italian tank, so you see both flags there. And this is a good new tank, I have to say. It's something different, it's great to see. It's been a while since we got a new line in Blitz, and this is different to tanks that you've experienced before. And therefore so very welcome. You can use cinnamon here. It maxes out the view range, which makes it very good, and it also gives a slightly faster reload, so that's what I'm going to use. There are two guns, 75mm or a 90mm gun. You need the extra pen for heavy, so get the 90mm gun as soon as possible. It gives you 140mm of pen, and 225 to 280 alpha rolls on your AP rounds. 7.41 second reload, which, you know, it's nothing special, and believe me, if you come up against a T43 or something like that, you're going to feel that longer reload, because he's going to be putting 2 rounds into you for every one of yours. You need to max the muzzle velocity in this, because the muzzle velocity is low for a medium tank. It's only 700 meters per second, and even with supercharge it only goes up to 910, so it's still less than 1000 meters per second. This is because the gun barrel is short and stubby. And you will see, particularly when you start playing at first, that you will miss some shots, because particularly if you're trying to track shots, because of the muzzle velocity is so slow. It is higher on APCR, and you get 180mm of pen on your APCR. So use APCR when you want to max out your penetration possibilities over distance, or even short range, because you get higher muzzle velocity with the APCR rounds. The muzzle velocity in the HE rounds is the same as your standard AP rounds. Now, this medium tank is a decent medium tank. It's balanced, you know, has 7 degrees of gun depression, 20 degrees of elevation, does 50 kilometers an hour in a straight line, 20 in reverse, and its power to weight ratio is okay. Not the best, not the worst, it's okay. Its traverse speed is very good though. Its concealment numbers are okay. They're just okay. There are much better concealment numbers on other medium and light tanks, so just be aware of this, but they're decent enough, and if you max out this view range, it will help a lot, so beware of that. It also has good frontal armor. The front plate is vulnerable, but the armor above the front plate, in between that and the turret, is pretty strong, and if you've played against it, you'll see it gets bounces. Has a decent turret as well. You see, look at the relative armor numbers there. Also has decent side scraping capability for a medium tank, and it has spaced armor on the side too, which means if there's an ISU, if you get up tiered, he will find it difficult to pen you on the side with HE, because it won't go through the spaced armor and you'll just get splash damage. So it's good defense against those big alpha rolling HE firers. But of course, you're also going to be up against Stuart Emmels and Nashorns, etc., who fire normal AP rounds, and they will go through, and they will do some damage, because you do have very light armor on the sides and on the back of this tank. Nonetheless, this tank is a decent tank. I wouldn't say it's great, but I wouldn't say it's bad either, as some people have been saying. It's a decent, solid performing, well balanced medium tank. So nothing spectacular, but also not really bad at anything. My major problem or drawback with it is that it has a long reload for a medium tank at tier 6, I think, and especially if you get into a brawl with something which is much faster firing, especially if you're up tiered, as we mentioned earlier, like a T43 or something like that, you're going to suffer a bit. But to compensate that, it does have a bit stronger armor. You can ram in it, etc. In terms of tactics, I would play this just as a standard medium tank, using arm tactics, assess, reassess and move. If there's no light tank, you can go and spot. It has decent concealment numbers and decent view range, especially if you use cinnamon. You can spot, scout, find the enemy, and then use your speed to move around the map, processing the information as to where the enemy is all the time, and then hopefully trying to influence the game to get a win for your team. So let's have a look at it in action. It's Rockfield and its supremacy. We checked the setup, so we're going to go right to C, and exactly as I said, we are going to go and try to scout. So we're going to go towards C base, and use the rock and the soft cover to see if we can spot up the enemy, get some XP for spotting the enemy, and of course help our team. So as I said, this tank is a decent tank. It's not spectacular, it's not great, but I enjoyed playing it, I have to say. And again, it is something different. It also looks great. It's like the Alfa Romeo of tanks, you know. Really good design goes into that, as you would expect from an Italian tank. Italians are nothing if not attractive and always looking well. Just think of Armani and Prada and Gucci and Versace. Well, not Versace, that's pretty bad. But you know, most Italian brands, nice. So this is the Alfa Romeo or the Armani of tanks. Looks great, great design, very sleek, very fashionable, and it's something good to have in your garage, right? And it's, as I said, it's great to have something new and different and exciting to come from wargaming. And as I said, it's also been a while since we've had a new tank line, so I'm glad it's here, and I certainly enjoyed playing it. Now, as you can see, the gun, you saw I missed a shot there earlier, and I'm going to miss another one in a few minutes on the I think the MT25 or the the LTTB coming up. You can see that in a few seconds. So the gun is patchy. Why? Well, because the gun is short, as you can see. It's short, stubby barrel, right? So that means that getting muzzle velocity is very much determined by the length of the barrel of a gun. The longer the barrel, the higher the muzzle velocity you can get. So therefore you get shots like this, as I mentioned, patchy. And this is because the muzzle velocity is not it means the shell is not moving as fast as it is, let's say, if it was a German medium tank, right, which would probably have 300 to 400 meters per second higher muzzle velocity. Short range, as you can see here, not a problem. The problem is when you are trying to fire over long distances, when you're doing tracking or deflection shooting. It's a bit more difficult than this. But in these sort of instances here, where I'm playing really good medium tank tactics, I've spotted, scouted, now I'm flanking, it works, right? So over short distances, that lack of muzzle velocity isn't such a problem, especially on static targets. But when you have a moving target, even at short distances, like you saw in the LTTB, this tank can be patchy and a little bit unreliable, so you just need to be aware of that. But of course, practice makes perfect, so the more you play with it, better you'll become, and the gun handling will become second nature to you, and you won't have to worry about it too much. Just want to show you the frontal armor in action here. Get that bounce off my peer. I'm going to roll by him, get another bounce there from behind, two bounces. So you can see one of them was sort of hit me at a reverse side scrape angle, so I got the bounce. We saw the relative armor numbers in this in the tech spec are really good, both for forward and reverse side scraping. So the angle, I think it was the LTTB fired at me, that he just got a bounce off my very high relative armor numbers on the side, and I got two bounces off my peer. He's obviously in a panic, he wasn't letting his tank aim properly, so therefore I got two bounces. But you can see that in this kind of brawling situation, the armor is decent and is reliable, and you will get some bounces. Now, gonna push by here using the speed of the tank. Then you can see here I'm using a normal AP round. I don't have to go up to APCR, and I can pen the bottom of the Tiger quite easily. Now here's the speed of the tank and that traverse speed again, and the Tiger is no slouch. It's one of the most agile of heavy tanks at tier 7. Get right around behind him, push past him, and we're able to do a lot of damage and then take him out. Now AMX is back, nice tracking shot here later on in the game, of course, and you get more familiar with the gun handling, so therefore track that shot well. Maximum alpha roll 281, very nice. Put one up his butt. Another 258 alpha roll. I'm going to help my T29, who's been a great player and a great teammate throughout the game. We stuck close by each other, and we actually carried this game between us. Am I going to get the last kill? No, T29 gets it, but he deserves it. He had a great game as well. And as I said, when we check the results, you'll see that he and I carried the game between us. Mastery badge for me, 2.88k of damage. And you can see there 3 kills and 2.4k damage almost for the T29, and 3 kills for him. So a bit of a carry between us. And as you saw, we played together. I stuck with him. I was using his gun and his armor to help me out a little bit. So good all-round team play from both of us, and we delivered a win for our team. And as I said, a bit of a carry. You can see there damage or spotting on all of the enemy, which ramped up that XP. mastery badge, high caliber, that medal which I can't pronounce, and of course steel wall, which is great to get in a medium tank, right? Really great to get in a medium tank, and that shows sort of the effectiveness of the armor, particularly when you're front on, or if you're moving and use those relative armor numbers. It will get you some bounces, and steel wall in a medium tank is something that you don't often see. So let's have a recap. So I think this is an exciting new tank in a new line, and it's well thought out by Wargaming. They've brought some decent tanks in this line, and most welcome. It's a solid medium tank. It's well balanced, nothing spectacular, as I said, you know, and some people don't like it because it's not OP, you know, and they're expecting it, but I think it's well balanced, solid enough. 90mm gun is okay. 7.41 second reload is not so okay, I have to say. You got 140mm of pen on the AP, 188mm on the APCR, 45mm with HE. Power to weight ratio is okay, as you saw there. It's decent enough starting from a stop still. Traverse is very good, which makes it a decent brawler. But be aware of that reload time. It handles well, even if it's not the most agile medium, which it's not. I mean, it's not as agile as a Cromwell or Cromwell B. But using Cinnamon, you can max its view range, and this helps a lot given the lower concealment numbers that it has. I mean, I say the concealment numbers are decent. They're okay, but they're lower than some of its peers. The strong turret and front armor though, and spaced armor on the sides do give it advantages, and as I said, you got a steel wall in that, which is unusual in a medium tank. Plays the medium tank role well: arm, assess, reassess, move, and basically being the CPU of the team. It's fast, does 50 kilometers an hour, which allows you to spot and scout, especially if you use the Cinnamon in provisions to max out your view range, and use soft cover, etc., to also help with its concealment numbers. Is a little slow from a stop start, not too bad though. It's not too bad. I mean, but if you're up against something like Cromwell B or Crommy or a Sentinel, it's faster than you. So overall, it's a solid medium tank, something new and good and fun to play, but it's not OP, and it's by no means hugely advantageous versus enemy tanks. So just be aware of that. Just, you know, be aware that you're a solid middle-of-the-road player in this tank. Music was Vivaldi, 4 Seasons. I thought we should have something Italian. Why not? It's an Italian tank. So cheers, Mush. Thanks for watching. I guess all remains for me to say is pants off.